the sports that we have on our platform, handball, basketball, hockey, volleyball, and table tennis, represent roughly 50% of the sports interest people in Germany.
Yeah.
23 million are interested in football. 17 million are interested in our sports. Except ice hockey, we have all sports that people really care about in Germany next to football. And the idea was, if you have a target group in the size of the Netherlands, there should be a market.
Hi everyone. For today's episode of A Guy with a Scarf, which is a lighter scarf because it's a bit sunny and not so cold in Torino, I have the great pleasure to have my friend Andreas Heyden. Hello, Andreas.
Ciao. Great to meet you again.
How are you?
Very good. It's getting springtime in Germany, in Cologne, so life is coming out of the winter.
And so a bit about Andreas. I'm sure a lot of people know you, but it's good to have a little story of how you ended up in this business.
Generally speaking, I'm doing this internet business, so-called, since 1997. So my first job was when the internet was quite fresh, working at an ISP, teaching people how to get to the internet. And after the .com phase, I went into media, and actually I started in the whole video on demand business around 2007, 2008 at RTL, but also with my startup. And since 2015, I've been in the sports business, and now I'm in the sports streaming business. So the paths came together.
So basically, kind of a technical background and intercepting maybe not the pioneering times, but the early stages of different transformation, the web, the internet before, and then streaming, which is normally, from my experience, a very good place to be because you can take a bit more risk. But how you ended up in sport then at the DFL? That's where we met and we worked together.
Yes. Actually, my plan was never really to go into sport. But as an opportunity opened up, I have understood what the power of sports content is. So I would say my strength is seeing the world and seeing products through the customer's eyes. And when I started thinking about sports, I really quickly have understood that sports is nearly the only content which is a magnet for attention. There are not many reasons why many people at the same time come together, either in person or in front of screens, to watch a unique, once in a time, for this moment in time, piece of content. You see millions and millions of people watching TV series over time in Netflix. Everybody watches 1 month, 100 hours on Netflix, next month, 10 hours or 0 hours of Netflix. And to have this source of content which gets so much attention, that was fascinating for me. And when then the opportunity opened up to work for the DFL, which operates the Bundesliga, the governing body, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And I think from my observation working with the DFL and with you, you also intercepted a moment where digital became super relevant for the league. You had a lot of innovation, top of my mind, everything digital, but also what you did with AWS. So I think even in that case, it was a good moment to be there to innovate, I guess.
Definitely. I would say that as sport gains so much attention by providing live access to a piece of content, the need for digital transformation was in the first step not felt so urgently. But if you start working on it, and the real big rise of social media in the second wave with Instagram coming up and YouTube getting really big from 2015 on, we have seen that with very limited marketing efforts, it's possible to gain a massive reach because you have content that people care about. And this is something which we have taken from a media transformation to a technology transformation, where we moved into AI services, into Bundesliga match facts, to always create a deeper understanding of the match and the clubs and the content around it.
And then what happened? At some point, something happened, right?
Yeah. So I worked 7 years for the Bundesliga, and Christian Seifert, who was for 17 years the CEO.
Wow, 17.
17 years.
Oh, wow.
So I spent roughly 1/3 of his lifetime at DFL, to get a little bit more actually. And he was always a big supporter, an enabler, also a rule breaker in a positive sense, where he enabled to do change in sport, which is quite hard because sometimes sports can be quite traditional. And after 17 years, understandable, he has left DFL with, I would say, an idea in his head. And the idea is that in no European country, the difference between the number one sport, football, and the number two sport, handball in Germany, is so big. And the sports that we have on our platform, handball, basketball, hockey, volleyball, and table tennis, represent roughly 50% of the sports interest people in Germany. 23 million are interested in football. 17 million are interested in our sports. Except ice hockey, we have all sports that people really care about in Germany next to football. And the idea was, if you have a target group in the size of the Netherlands, there should be a market.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. And that's why you I think, together started Dying. Okay. Correct?
Yeah. So I was helping in the beginning. He started this with Axel Springer as a shareholder. And I joined after my contract with the DFL I was able to exit the contract and start then as a CEO.
And so the idea basically was aggregating. So it's definitely a platform fully dedicated to sport, and aggregating tier. I would normally say tier two, a group of tier two sport that have a big enough audience to become relevant.
Yes, and I would say it's 2023. We are not just another streaming platform. So we are not taking ready-made signals and just bundle them and distribute them. We are going deeper in the value chain. So we are producing the games. So since the 23rd of August last year, we have produced today now, 14th of March, over 1,500 games on the ground. We have that capability. Secondly, we have built a remote production capabilities where we produce output on a way more efficient and sustainable cost structure with a lower CO2 footprint. And thirdly, we have built for the leagues an infrastructure with the content desk, which is a central platform we have been building to input, output content, distribute content, data, pictures, all types of media, where at the end, our platform is fed, our media partners is fed, our clubs are fed, our leagues are fed with content. Because we truly believe demand on the weekend is created during the match week, during the week.
So basically, I didn't realize this, sorry. It's like OBS for the Olympics. Not only, it's OBS and OCS, the Olympic channel for the Olympics. So you're producing, if you imagine that they could have the rights for everything. So you're producing, you're distributing, and you're distributing B2B, and you're distributing D2C. That's the deal. Yeah. So it's a
streaming.
You kind of, sorry, go.
Yeah, sorry, it's a streaming ecosystem. From glass to glass of the camera lens to the glass of the customer, we control every step in the way. And as we were able to start on the green field, we don't drag any legacy with us. We are completely cloud native from day one. So if you look under our tables, if you look in our server rooms, there's not much metal and silicon laying around, because we are in an event-driven business. We have roughly 2,500 events per year on 200 days. So we need a variable, scalable cost structure for events that we can go up and down. And on some days we have 26 games in parallel that we have on our platform and distributing to our partners.
I think in that sense, especially coming from business that have transformed with huge legacies, if you do a great architectural design, it's a huge advantage, not only in terms of, you spend less, basically, but and you're variable, controlling the cost variably. But I think it's also important because you have the agility to introduce innovation, because in another case, you would maybe have a product idea for the tennis table fans, and you had to convince someone else to implement it. So it would be very long to innovate. I think it's very similar to, if you want, in some cases, what the NBA was able to do, because the moment they decided to do a mobile version of the feed, they just did it because they controlled everything. So I think it seems to have a great advantage, to be honest.
I would say the difference towards the NFL is that we are still a licensor. So we license content and build a product around it.
Yeah.
These sports rights of really, really great sports that we have acquired are not there in the position like an NFL, like an NBA, that they have the manpower, the knowledge, the technology. For sure, they have the aspiration to grow, and we are there to help them to grow. But having a partner like us who comes up with this unique setup with a very, very cost effective infrastructure and solutions, and at the same time high quality output, high quality OTT products. This is something I see rarely in the world until now, in that width and breadth, depth that we are offering on our service.
And so I have two questions. The first one is, I've seen pictures of you with a desk and an empty room. Tell me a bit, coming from, I imagine the DFL being, super organized with offices, with people. How was the story from one man, one desk to? By the way, I've seen a lot of young people involved, right? Diverse team, young people. Tell me the story of building a team.
Yeah. So the last 22 months were quite a ride, I would say. In the first half of 22, we acquired the rights, nearly all rights. There were some rights afterwards, but the big rights were done in summer 22. I started officially on the 1st of August. And as I was a long time at DFL, and I was a long time involved in thinking about the project, I had a quite good idea of what I wanted to do. Okay, I didn't have anybody who was helping me at that point to define that from my vision and I'm not a tech guy, I'm more a marketing guy, but I understand technology, and I always come from the problem to the solution. So for me, it was important in August 2022 to get the brightest minds into our small office, which was 4 rooms we didn't have desks. So first we had to go to IKEA and buy some desks. And we got competitors into one room, because I said, okay, this is our vision. Here we're going to be next year at that point in time. Please help us, tell us, let's discuss how we're going to achieve that. And I had some fundamental principles of designing it. It was sure for me, I'm doing cloud business since I'm using cloud services since my startup 2010. So quite a while. I'm very well. I really like the AWS ecosystem, and we wanted to go into hybrid, into remote. I'm going to go into that a little bit deeper. So we had roughly half a year to come up. So to come up with the idea, to conceptualize, to negotiate, to sign contracts. So on the 7th of have a small Christmas break, And then from the 7th of January 23 until 23rd of August, 18 hours 35 or something like this, we worked. So we have built the company, hired 36 employees, 150 freelancers, 30 to 40 commentators and hosts. We have put fiber to over 40 stadiums. We had to build up a whole OTT infrastructure. We had to build up a whole production infrastructure, the whole AWS infrastructure, and the 3 big partners who helped us achieve it, with lots of more I'm not ignoring, but these are the 3 big ones. Was NAP, the world's largest sports broadcasting, who have built up a whole 2110 the infrastructure for doing remote production, which only, by the way, in that scale, Apple is doing with MLS for Apple TV. We have Riedel, a German company, which provides a lot of hardware and software solutions. They acquired Simply Live, which we use underneath for remote editing. And the third one, not to forgotten, is AWS, who, as we are belonging to Axel Springer, which is the 6th largest media company in the world, where Axel Springer is a big partner of AWS and working with them for many years. We got a massive support from AWS and our mother company, Axel Springer, for getting for the whole process, getting into the cloud, setting up the services, administrating the services. Because, and this is the beauty of live sport, the game starts whether you're ready or not. Sport doesn't.
That's the story of my life. That's the story of my life.
Sport doesn't care, and it's good that it doesn't care, because it puts the pressure on you to deliver on the point. Because in life, seconds are minutes and minutes are hours. And you really have to work in that mindset, and you have to adjust to the stress level that stuff will go wrong, and will always go wrong in the point where you don't have a backup.
And so I think there are also some silver lining. One is you have to learn to be able to change things during life, which no other business is accepted. They don't even design it. That's why people coming to live sport from outside very often fail, because they design system that cannot break, but then shit happens. And you need to know what to do when it happens. On the other side, the fact that there is this deadline, you may normally associate it with stress, but it's also people in a room that have to find a solution, maybe find a solution that normally, the egos, etc. But if you know that together you have to find a solution, I think it creates a sometimes stronger bond in the community of people working on teams like that. I don't want to be too philosophical, but I've seen it. So
I feel the same like you. We are both old veterans. It's so
true.
I feel that as our company vision and mission is not, let's earn a lot of money. Yes, we will be profitable, and we need and want to earn money. But the underlying purpose is that we increase the awareness and appreciation of those sports beside football. And this is something which unites many people, and we get really, really bright minds from McKinsey, from DFL, from football clubs, from big media companies, from Audible, etc., who have a professional career, who are very, very professional, and who are bright people and great colleagues, and they work so hard, and they are so committed to the project because they believe in the vision.
Yeah, but there is a purpose. I mean,
goes deeper.
Yeah. I think the purpose, I can imagine that growing football, it's a great purpose. Growing something that is not football seems a bit more challenging, and you can get passionate about it. But the other question that I have is, and I've struggled, even if I work a lot in Germany, why do you think this could happen only in Germany, and why Germany?
So Germany is a football nation. And since 2006, the summer miracle in Germany, and even before the world champion winning the world champion before, it has moved into a direction where the big got bigger with football, and there was a big commitment in the media to make football big and benefit from it, benefit in stories, benefit in business models, benefit in sponsoring, benefit in advertising. So if you follow the platform economic, that in future only the largest platform will win, then you would say, hey guys, you're crazy to even start something like this. But if you have other sports which are, I would say, at the current stage a little bit undervalued, a little bit like property development. Either you buy something on the high street or you develop a whole quarter of a city new. We are not investing into one skyscraper in inner city. We are developing in a whole area of town where we build roads, where we build homes.
That's a good.
And give, because at the end, we also give back 10% of our revenue dedicated to the youth development of the leagues. And the customer in the sign-up process decides whom we should support. It's called Move Your Sport.
This I didn't know. Unique. This I didn't know. Oh, wow.
Very unique. Because we believe if you have to develop from the grassroots, you have to monetize and you have to make content accessible and on the receiving end. But from the fan base, you have to start growing with young people who are investing time and energy into the sport.
And I have to say, it's clear that the fans in Germany, even if maybe from outside you don't realize, have a voice. I mean, as we saw recently. But I think the fact that you involve them from the start, it's maybe also a sign, especially for this second-tier sport. It's a sign of having a different approach from, okay, we're on a OTT platform, we buy rights, watch the match, pay the subscription, right?
Yeah. I think what's important from our content strategy, we are building a home of the sport. We are building not the Netflix of sports. So we have 5 sports, and in those sports we go very deep. Always the national league as a trigger content, always the second league if available, always a women's league, always a European right. That is the basic setup of rights. And then we can go deeper and do Euro, like handball, European championships, even on our platform. So for me to go broad and have now canoeing or climbing or something like this, maybe interesting.
Beautiful sports.
But there, it's not serialized content, so you don't have a real league. And it would be just another sport to our sports. I'd rather invest my time and money in making the best handball experience, the best basketball experience, the best table tennis experience.
And in terms of, last question, to be honest, in terms of content formats, are you doing original series? Not yet. Is there a differentiator? What's your point there?
Thank you for the question. It's a point we haven't touched yet. As I said in the beginning, the attention of the weekend is created throughout the week. We behave very different to a classical pay TV operator because we slice and dice content in the rights to have pre-content, matchday content, post-content, but not just on our platform, but also through the content desk. We give rights and material to rights material to clubs, to leagues. We even have obligation in the contracts with the clubs where the clubs have to produce content during the match, which we then use on social media while the match is happening, after the match, which we pull into the next time game feed, which we take. We have every 2 weeks a little late night show where we use clips of that. We do have documentaries. in a not yet large scale. Are we going to invest into non-live content? I would say let's first get the live content perfect, and then we can move into the next content area. But for us, social media is, on the one hand side, brand building, on the second side, attention creating for the sports. And then if we benefit at the end in selling subscriptions to the sport, everybody wins, because the money flows back to the leagues and to the clubs and to the players.
No, but realizing that an operation like that and the sports together is not one voice, but it is an ecosystem of voices or relationship with fans is crucial, because it's true. I may decide to come earlier Sunday, whatever, afternoon home to watch a game of a sport because someone posted something on social, not even you. I mean, so that's really smart in terms of having a strategy that is more holistic about how you relate with the fans, I guess.
And you help the clubs grow, because in their distributed audience, in their ecosystem, the sport grows, the league grows throughout the clubs, and at the end, it's a win-win-win.
Totally. So fascinating. Let's check back in 1 or 2 years to see where you are with Dyn, right?
We're here to stay.
Okay. Grazie, Andreas. Thank you so much.